Hello, spirit brothers and sisters. Okay, I was gonna make a different video, but now I'm feeling the other one. I just wanted to say, okay, first of all, I've been getting a little more attention lately, and that feels good. Not just the attention, it's just recognition, I guess, is a wonderful thing. So I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who's been watching and enjoying the activations and all these kinds of things. It brings me to a point I wanted to mention. When you're a light worker or you're a healer of any kind, is that you can't take yourself out of the equation. I know a lot of new agey people, and I say that affectionately anyway. They're always saying, "Don't thank me. The healing isn't coming from me. You can't. Just one person can't just heal another. It's a combination of, our souls touching and our higher selves reasoning. It's not me. It's my higher self. It's not me. It's Gabriel. It's not me. It's the power of the Akadua. It's not me. It's Krishna. Whatever." And that's absolutely true. But you can't take yourself out of the equation completely, because if you weren't there to be a channel, then these people would never feel this energy and they would never have the opportunity to be healed. You are important in that respect. I've been experiencing, this is what the main point, that was one point. The main point of this video is like an Ascension report, actually. I wanted to just let you know what I've been going through the past week or so. I deal with a lot of beings, usually more in like Eastern traditions, Kuan Yin, Krishna. I talk to Krishna a lot, he's awesome. And some angels, angelic beings, etc. But I can also talk to ETs and various forms of, any form of consciousness. And I've always had a strong affinity for the idea of the Sirians, and while I would try to contact them, I never really got that far, which led me to believe that I don't really have a very strong connection to the Sirian consciousness. Whereas I thought, like my whole life as a child, I'd be like staring up at Sirius and be like awestruck at the star, and then when I started to get into channeling and to think about, ETs and all that kind of stuff, I go, ooh, maybe I have a star seed connection to Sirius or something like that, or I have an aspect. I'm sure there are aspects of my interdimensional self that relate well to Sirius and the Sirian consciousness in general, and they do, otherwise I wouldn't have found that line or current. But I just recently decided to delve further into that, into their consciousness, and ask for one specific being who would like to make contact with me. And it came through with much difficulty. It was not easy. It took a lot of adjusting to these Sirian energies before I could get a flow of communication going. This consciousness calls himself Lucas, and he takes delight in LKS, the different cognates that has in many languages on planet Earth. Locus, loose, Luke, light, etc. Take your pick. And it's just an identifier, it doesn't mean anything except for that. But I started getting impressions. I could see them, the Sirians, a long time ago in their early stages of development. And then it was interesting as I started to adjust to the energy, and it was coming through more clearly and more clearly over the course of a few days. I saw this being as different and more evolved. And so it was sort of like this little evolution. As I was getting acclimated to the Sirian energies, then my picture of this being was a different one, because I could only see a certain aspect of it, this consciousness, while I wasn't able to bring those energies through. Well, that entire day, the first time I made that contact, all of a sudden I was just like, whew, I would feel like kind of drained and a little loopy and a little dizzy, and I would like stand up from crouching down on the floor and be like, whoa, you know, what's going on? And no, I wasn't getting sick or anything like that. I've been fine. And then I started acclimating it. There was a lot of heat coming through, and then the next day I was able to perceive this being on a different level of awareness, and its form, his form, a different level of evolutionary progression, which mimics or mirrors the evolutionary progression of the Sirians as a species. Well, today somebody asked for a video from SaLuSa. That's the other video that I'm going to make in a minute, with the message from SaLuSa and a language of light activation, which SaLuSa is very pleased as punch to give. He's excited. But the thing is that I had never heard of SaLuSa, and so I decided not to look anything up about this being and see what impressions I got. You know, if you're a channel, then you should be able to get some clear impressions of this being without having known anything or seen them or heard of them at all, and I indeed had not. I may have seen it maybe before, but there was absolutely no recognition. I had no idea what this being looked like, what the energy it was going to bring through was going to be like, what kind of message it had, whether it was an alien entity, whether it was an ascended master, whether it was, and I say it just as a regular word, not in any disparaging way. I think it's unfortunate that the word it in English has a negative, neutral connotation for some reason. That's not good. But anyway, I didn't know what this being was going to have in store for me. I didn't know if it was an angel, you know, no idea. I actually considered the idea that maybe you were just making it up to test me. Yes, you know who you are. But no, and, you know. Okay, so I sat down and I started connecting to this being, who's still in the room, by the way. And the energy came through very strongly, and it was very fiery and almost elemental in a way, but then there was this aspect of the consciousness to it that I could feel that it's like this burning, really tightly focused, intense awareness that I've only felt with alien beings. I think I've only felt it with alien beings. I wanted to say at first that it was elemental and maybe something angelic, but then as the consciousness went on, no, this consciousness is much more alien than I had supposed before. I'm not going to say the message, that's for a different video. But what started happening afterwards, first of all, I went downstairs and started cooking dinner and checking on dinner and all these different things, and I could tell that this entity was still, this is after I channeled the message, haven't made the language of light activation yet, and that's weird. It might be a commercial, anyway. So I could tell that this being was still around and still in my field of energy and like really excited to be there, so I had piqued his interest. And ever since then, the whole rest of the night, the exact same thing has been happening to me. I've been feeling like stuff coming out, like little tingling from the right side of my brain, and it'll just like pull away. And I have another point to get to in this. And I've also been feeling just tons of heat rushing out from my heart and from my solar plexus and running down and running down and running down. And I believe it's every time you contact one of these higher beings, not only do you have to, in a way, acclimate your own energy to their energy, but they give you gifts, they give you blessings, and they love to be a part of your energy matrix. And so in doing that, you're initiating another bioenergetic change, or whatever you want to call it, so that you can communicate with them more closely, and that certain channels and pathways in the body and the brain and the heart and the soul or whatever are all opened up so that you can receive different types and certain types and specific types of information from these different beings. I am changing the music. No, I'm not. Okay then. Anyway, And so, in a sense, those are my Ascension symptoms. Not really much of a point there. But I've been going through these things the more I've been connecting to alien consciousnesses lately. And that's pretty much it I wanted to say. Is there anything else? Okay. No, not really. I have some weird dreams lately, but it's not particularly interesting. Okay. Signing off.